What's up, guys? AJ Slotguy here with SlotsFan.com, bringing you part 2/part 3 of Gamble Smart, Gamble Safe, and we will tell you why. We had one part with Mark, with all of the educational things, debunking those myths and stories and whatever it is you think you could do. And here comes Dave, the cleanup hitter, bang, knocking it out of the park. He's going to give us some of the best rewards programs that you guys could take advantage of and how to absolutely stretch out a trip to make it last through all these rewards and comps and whatever else. But let me stop talking and introduce the man himself. Dave, thank you for joining me again here, pal. I hate that it's not in person like it was last time.
Thanks, AJ. I love being with you all the time. Anytime I can come on, I'm happy to.
You know, you're the best for that, unlike Mark, who I have to fight with. So
yeah, Mark's all like, "Oh, let's see what's our time and all that." I'm like, "I'll make time. I'll make time for you."
He needs a new attitude. So it was a really good. I got to give credit to Mark for the idea behind that. Was, you know, when we were in person in Vegas. First of all, there's so much going on, right? G2E, all that stuff. We're up there. Who's hungover? Who's not? Who's having a good time? We're planning for demolitions at 2:00 in the morning. All kinds of things were going on, and we were more introducing you, to the community more than anything. And instead of picking at, what is really behind this channel, what makes you, gamble smart. Now I know the smart drops on you, definitely not Mark. So that's where the gamble smart. Comes from, and so that's 2 shots. I'm allowed to take 4 shots at him, he said. I've already hit my limit a minute and a half into this, ladies and gentlemen. Just kidding. We love Mark, of course. Here is the better half, Dave, here to give us, like I said, Dave, you got to give us some insight. So we're going to do some different questions here, and I want you to just rock and roll, man, because remember, it's all about education, right? We're educating people on how to gamble responsibly. We're educating them on how this RNG doesn't mean anything and this and that. How about we educate them on the best way to, take advantage of that loyalty program, whatever part of, get involved with a loyalty program if you haven't. And I mean, it all starts with this, Dave. You walk into a casino, the first thing you're doing, if you're not a member, is you're going right to that player reward.
Absolutely.
Center, right?
Every time.
Tell me why.
Oh, man. So this annoys Mark probably to no end, because I will look around a casino and I'm like, okay, I got to go to the player's card before I can play anything. He's like, oh, let's just go ahead and play real quick. I'm like, no, because the casino doesn't know you're there unless you have a player's card.
That's right.
Without that, they have no clue who you are. They're not going to give you anything. They're not going to be part of your experience. The rewards program is the only thing you're getting back from the casino.
Right.
So it's like, that whole thing of they take from us, we got to take from them.
That's right.
And the way you're doing that through those reward programs, through those comps. So make sure, first thing you do, always get a player's card. Make sure it's in on every play, whether you're playing table games, whether you're playing slots, whether you're ordering something from the restaurant, make sure that player's card comes out. A lot of times, player's cards, different levels, they give discounts at restaurants and shops, but they also can give points. And so I'm super methodical about it. If I go to some place where they can't give me points in the casino, take that receipt, go to the rewards desk, and cash that in and make sure I'm getting those points. And I'll even go crazier. I'll find receipts and take them in.
Look at that.
That used to work. Doesn't work too well anymore. They want the actual receipt with your name on it. I'm like, come on.
See, he's trying his best to do his best for us so we can be our best. Does that make sense, people? I mean, so Dave, across your journey now, of course, with being a channel, we don't have to introduce you and get back into that. Did you always take advantage of this, or was it like, you became a channel, so you became traveling more, spending more money and doing all this stuff, and then being a part of all different programs now, just like I am? I was part of 3 programs at one point. Then I became a channel, and I have cards,
cards that stick.
Like this.
I've always done it. So it used to be, most of the casinos, especially on the Strip and downtown, were all independent. Now they've all kind of come together. You have on the Strip, you have MGM, you have Caesars, but then you have a couple of one-offs like Venetian and Fontainebleau, Wynn, and Resorts World. But then downtown, everyone used to be independent, and now there's really like 4 programs. There's Boyd, there's the One Properties, Golden Nuggets always by themselves, and then Plaza's always by themselves. But I used to tell people, at very least, go get a player's card, because it has the name of the casino on it. Somewhere in this mess of a desk, I found my original Mirage card.
Wow.
Before Mirage was MGM, they were Mirage.
Okay.
And then I have a Mirage with MGM on it as well. And it was like really cool because like that's a souvenir in itself.
Yeah.
Same, Caesar's Palace had its own card. Everybody had their own card. They even might have
Right.
been a part of the program or part of the group, but their own card was there. Now we get to the whole MGM rewards is one card across
Yep.
all the platforms.
Yep. No matter what.
It's kind of cool getting your own one. So
Yeah.
it was automatically a great way to go because that was a souvenir and it was for free.
Same.
I went to Vegas originally poor. And when I mean poor, I mean I was in college. I would go for 3 or 4 days with $100 that included food and gambling money. Now I'd treat my hotel and flight separately, so I'd be like a different expense. But that was all my gambling money and food was $100. So it essentially broke down to about $25 a day.
Look at that. And you made it happen.
And
you're here.
Back then you could make it happen. 30 years ago, I could make it happen, no problem. I could gamble on $20 and eat on $5.
Right.
Because back then, let's just say I could sit down at Quarter Roulette, and I know exactly where I'd sit down at Quarter Roulette at Fremont Street Casino. You play there for 2 hours with quarters on $20, which is pretty easy to do. They'll throw you a free buffet.
There it is.
So I would have meals covered with simple, easy play. And now flash forward to where we are now. Now it's harder to do that. You cannot grind out a free meal at a slot or a casino without that player's card.
Yeah.
You have to have it. That's how they're tracking you. They're making sure they understand how much you're putting in, how much is coming out, and the difference in there, your coin in, coin out, that difference is what the casino is making or losing. On those number of coin in, coin out, that's how they're figuring out what your comps are going to be. It's a whole big math program, and I wish I had the equation, but I'm sure it's quite extensive. Your coin in is the most important thing. And people will kind of like disagree with me on this, and I welcome it because a lot of people say, well, what about your theoretical win-loss? And I'm like, tell me about yours. Well, I don't know what it is because you can't find that out unless you ask your host. That's great. Most people don't have a host. Most people, their whole life lives and ends on that card.
Right.
So if that card's in the machine, that card's in the table game, the casino has you seeing how many bets you're doing per hour, giving you those comps based on those bets. That's how you're getting points, and that's how you're getting your different rewards. So to miss out on that is really just your fault.
Right.
You're missing out on that. You're missing out on the only free stuff that Vegas is ever going to give you.
Hey, Slots fans. I want to take this quick moment to remind you guys about SlotsFan.com, the only website that is dedicated to people who love watching slots. There are over 250 streamers ranked amongst the community, in-depth biographies, interviews, big win stories, casino reviews, and more. So guys, make sure you are going and checking out SlotsFan.com. Click the link in the description below. Bookmark the site because there is new content coming out every single day. Thanks again, Slots fans. How does one go about obtaining a host? What are the rules in that? I always see that being asked online. How do I get a host? What do I do? Who do I contact? How does that occur? And I'm sure it differs from casino to casino.
So it all depends on the property. The higher the tier property, the harder it is to get a host. The lower the tier property, the easier it is to get a host. So we're going to use Vegas as a lot of examples because it's pretty easy to do. Everybody knows the Strip, everybody knows downtown, and everybody knows there's local casinos off the Strip. So in the case of on the Strip, you're going to have to spend a little bit more money to get a host. It's all about how much you gamble. Doesn't necessarily how much you win, but it's how much you gamble. To qualify for a host anywhere on the Strip, you're going to want to be about a $25 a hand player, or in the sense of slot machine, you're going to want to be in that $5 to $10 range regular player on slots. So an average of a $10 bet per spin over the course of an hour. Same thing over on table games. It's going to be a $25 average hand over the course of an hour.
How about that? So that's a little insight that I'm sure not
now
a lot
that
know about.
Doesn't guarantee you a host either.
Right.
Because again, if I'm gambling, let's say I go into Aria with $1,000. Aria is not going to give a damn that I brought in $1,000.
Yeah, no shot.
Whether it's a table game or a slot machine, they don't care about $1,000. If I go downtown to, let's say, Fremont Street, Fremont Casino, the D, Four Queens, you bring $1,000 in there and cash it on a table game, that's going to turn heads.
Yeah.
Someone's going to come say, hey, how you doing? The
Right.
pit boss or somebody. You play that $1,000 out for an hour, win or lose. You're playing $25 a hand for an hour. Or in a slot machine's case, if you're playing $10 a spin for an hour, someone at those properties, you're going to get noticed. You're probably going to get a call, because you're talking about a lot of churn in money, both win and lose. And so that churn, that difference between your win and loss, that how much coin in you're putting in, how much you're cashing out, that churn is what matters to properties, hosts, and everybody in between. I did have a great way, and this goes to credit for one of our subscribers, George. He had a great kind of trick for wanting to get a host. And I have been sharing this for the last year when he told me this, because I thought it was brilliant. So let's say you're an average player, all right? And by average player, I'm going to say if you're on table games, you're betting $10 to $15 a hand per hour. Right. If you're on slot machines, you're around the $5 a spin player for an hour. What you do is, now this isn't guaranteed, okay? This is a Hail Mary.
No guarantee.
No guarantee, but it could possibly work. So what George said to do, and as soon as he said this, my eyes lit up like, that's brilliant. Call the casino that you're going to stay at. Okay? So you haven't booked your trip yet. Call the casino, ask to speak to the host on duty.
Okay.
There's always a host on duty at almost every casino.
I can confirm.
So you ask to speak to the host on duty, and you say, listen, I don't have a host. I'm coming there in this dates. I haven't booked yet. I just don't want my play to go wasted. So can you book under you, so at least you get that play? And then maybe later on, we'll talk about coming on full time as my host. So the way hosts get paid is by your play. The people they're bringing in, doesn't matter the dollar level. If they're coming in and they're playing, that host is making a percentage of your play. So by saying, hey, book this under you so that play doesn't go to waste, you're instantly making a relationship with that host. The worst they can say is no.
True.
The best case, they book the trip for you. They may not do anything special for you. You know, this is building a relationship. But if you play on your average level, they may do that next time as well. They may rebook you. And then they may start throwing in stuff. That's how you build that relationship. And that's how you can get a host without spending a lot of money on play. I currently do not have a host anywhere.
There you go.
I don't spend enough money. I spend thousands playing, but that's not enough money to get a host at the properties I play at. I've spent a good amount of money playing downtown, but not enough. Nor do I feel the pressure to play that way. That's the other thing, is don't feel pressure to get a host. Just because you have a host doesn't change anything majorly. Yes, a host can get you tickets. They can increase your free play. They can get you more resort credit.
It's really not that big.
There's pros and cons. There's not that many pros for your average player.
Correct.
Just book your own offer most of the time.
Correct.
If you happen to get a host, great. Make sure you're not feeling pressure from them. You work for them in that sense, but they can also say, hey, listen, I need you to play more. As soon as a host says, I need you to play more, get out. That's wrong for you.
You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Get out, and get out fast. Now, tell us why, Dave. Why is that? Why would we get out?
So remember, the host's job is to bring in money for the casino. They're getting a percentage of that play. That's how the host is making their money as well. They get paid a salary, but it's also like a bonus. So it's real important to remember that just like anyone else in sales, sometimes you got to push your clients to buy more. High pressure sales. And so that can happen. So if you ever say, hey, I've got a host, I love my host, he's great. Well, what does he do for you? Oh, he gets me some extra free play and all this. Has he ever asked you to play more? Yeah, once in a while he says you need to play a little bit more if I want to book that reservation for you. That's a kind of a toxic relationship between host and player.
Okay.
A host should be your concierge. They should be the person who says yes to you. When they have to say no, it should never be in the context of you need to play more.
Right.
They should never even hint at it.
Okay.
If that's the problem, then they need to say, hey, I can't be your host anymore. So don't, but that happens. It does happen. People get pressured from their host to play more.
This is good stuff. And I mean, I can confirm too, no shots at any of my hosts out there. You know, I don't ask for much either. You know, I really do not ask for much or push it to the limit.
The caviar in the room.
Maybe I should. Oh, yeah, right.
Steam shower.
I don't even ask for like the bill to be clipped sometimes, even though I probably should every single time, especially especially with now what's being brought to the table. So that's a whole nother different story of, you know, you're really gonna charge me $22.98. I just brought 3 people into this casino with me to gamble for the night, and you know, record at your place and give you free advertisement. What are we doing here? However, for the normal player, they need to know that, like you said, just ask. You didn't plan on asking anyway, right? So it was going to be no. It was going to be a wash. So ask, and it might still be no, and then you're back to square one. Okay, that's what you were expecting anyway.
Right.
Or maybe it gets taken care of, and you'll remember that. A lot of things that brings me to a specific place, especially is the staff. You know, I love when I know the staff, when we're friendly with each other. You know, that's the one thing I loved about the Nugget. You know, shout out to them, even though they haven't responded in, 2 years to anything, wanting to work together. One of the best staff that you could ever, deal with. You feel safer. You know, I'm more obligated to play there, even though down the street is Borgata, an MGM property that can get me free offers all over the country. I preferred to go there because of just that little, I shouldn't say little. That's a big thing because people are miserable nowadays, but whatever. We're talking about loyalty programs. Let's stick to that for a sec. Let's actually go back, Dave. You were saying how the $5 to $10 in the slots, it's $25 per table. Can you explain that a little bit more? So you're telling me if I play $1,000 at the slots or $1,000 at the table, which way am I going to, tier up, tier points, get comp, stuff like that?
Oh, man. Yeah. If this was 3 years ago, I would tell you it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Table games is probably the fastest way you were going to tier. We're going to go say pre-COVID at this point.
Okay. It's like 5 years.
Pre-COVID. Okay. So 5 years, we're guaranteed at this point.
Wow.
Everyone's program was kind of up in the air. Table games were still a lot of discretion with the pit boss. Okay. They could really make or break your trip. They had a lot more ability to assign like how much you're playing per hour. They can go back and edit that and change all that. And it didn't matter as much for points. Back before COVID, I had a great comp grind that I used to do. And it was specifically for tier points. And I'm going to shout out to the Casino Quest CEG Dealer School for having this system on their channel.
There you go.
It does not work anymore, but it used to work.
I want to hear it. I want to hear what this was about.
So I was always a roulette player. That's how I started out. I started roulette. And so their system was essentially you're doing the first 12 and second 12 for $50 each. And then on straight up another 10 numbers, you're putting $5 each. So you have $150 on the board, and you have a 92.4% chance of breaking even each spin. So 4 numbers are the only numbers that can hurt you. 2 zeros, and again, this is on a 00 wheel. Do not play a 000 roulette wheel. You might as well just give them your money. Send me your money if you're going to play 000 wheel.
How many zeros are we going to end up with like in a decade? Is it going to be 5 of them? It's going to be
I don't even want to think about a 40 wheel. And like, why would you even play? Well, I don't even know why people play 30 wheel.
What?
And here's the other thing. I don't know why you play 30 wheel and don't cover all the zeros.
Right.
Because that gives you a section of the wheel.
Yeah, right. It's like playing first, second, third.
That's a specific roulette video we're not going to go over.
Yeah, we'll do it
anyway.
God.
in about a period of roughly, I started with $500. In a period of about 6 hours at Aria, playing $150 a spin, which is a lot at roulette.
Right.
I went from, I think, hadn't renewed gold for that year to nearly platinum in that amount of time because it was constantly grinding away. Am I winning much? No. Am I losing much? Absolutely not. In that whole entire out period, I only lost $400 and I cashed out. I was like, okay, I'm done. I have a strict rule of 2 loses and I'm out. You lose twice, it's time to go.
See ya.
Exactly. So in that time of playing, I was able to grind that all out.
Right.
At the same time in slots, that $150 or $500 buy-in wouldn't really have gotten me that far.
Right.
Now, if I found a good rhythm, I was winning, all that kind of stuff, it's possible, absolutely. But it would be a harder grind to do and much riskier.
Yeah.
Flash forward to post-pandemic. The whole math was changed.
Okay.
Everything is now more skewed toward slots. Now, speaking generally, MGM, Caesars, the big properties, Boyd, all those, everything's skewed more towards slots now.
Okay.
Less and less points are given to table game players. And I actually proved this because I did on one of my last trips to Vegas. I wish I recorded it after the fact. It made a great video, but during the time it didn't. I had $500 that I took to the Ultimate Texas Hold'em table. I was betting $20 a hand, so it's a $10 table, so that's $10 on play and $10 on blind.
Right.
I'm sorry, yeah, $10 on ante, $10 on blind, and it would be $10 on play minimum if I wanted to play that hand. I was there for approximately an hour, won $100. I got roughly in the neighborhood of 32 points from MGM. Back over to the slots, in that same time frame, I used $200 on a slot with a $500 budget. And in that time frame of just 20 minutes, I got over 100 some points. So really, the math is leaned way towards slots now. Now, all your table game players, don't you worry. If you're a high limit table game player, you have nothing to worry about. Okay. If you're playing that $25 limit higher, you're still being taken care of by the casino. You fall into a different category than the rest of us trying to grind it out on slots.
There you go.
You're playing at that level. You're getting taken care of in a different way. Your math is the same as it would be for any other table player, but you have your pit bosses looking out for you because you're playing a higher limit. You have your casino host taking notice of you at that time, playing at that higher limit for a long period of time. But if you're below that, you're just slowly earning points. Now, you still may get offers. Your comps may still look good, but they're not looking as good as a slot player who's just grinding out away. This last trip, I only had about a $2,000 budget for the week, and I was able to grind out about 32,000 points.
Wow.
In just that churn.
That's great.
And that was over a 6-day period, which, by the way, don't ever go to Vegas for 6 days. It's way too long.
Oh, that's rough, man.
It was rough. But I was able to grind out more than halfway to my second tier, my renewing gold for the year, and it's only January. And so that was incredible. And I wouldn't have been able to do that on table games. That's just not possible.
Yeah. Right.
So,
now the best thing is, and I'm sure you do this, is you look at your pamphlets and you see like, hey, Tuesday from 4 to 8 is a 3-time credit multiplier or whatever. Yep. And you can especially in Vegas, you can go right down the strip, I'm sure, in a way where if you weren't paying attention and you were just like bopping in and bopping out of here and going here and there, you can get 4, 5, 10 times, tier credits if you just go to this place in between that specific time frame, and then maybe look at what this one down the street has to offer after that one. You can really stretch this out and have yourself taken care of. How do they do these comps and offers that they make to you? If they're making you offers for March, is that based just on your last play that you were there, last time you were there, an overall couple months thing? How do they look at that?
Let me go with your multipliers first, because there's a little bit in there. So if you're seeing a place that does regular multipliers, all right, especially up to 10 times, you need to find out what a point is and what a point is worth. Because if they're giving away points, that's essentially what they're doing. What are the tiers worth? What are the points worth? And I'm going to call out Caesars on this because I know them really well, and they love doing their 5x points and their 10x points. But their points aren't worth as much, so they're giving you more. They also deleted their tier system. They used to have straight up number of tiers. It was your bottom tier. Then they did gold, platinum, diamond, and then 7-star. Then they added gold, Plus
This is good.
and Gold
This is good.
Elite or whatever. So
Yeah.
they diluted their program down, which made their program less strong than MGM's, which I believe right now is the strongest program out there.
That's
mainly because they're uncompromising. So in Caesar's example, they diluted their point structure. So now, regularly, I was platinum at Caesar's, and it actually meant something.
Right.
I got the Caesar's credit card. We'll get into that later on as well, the credit cards and all that. But I got all that. So I was always platinum. I was always treated well. Then they brought in the extra diamond levels. Now my platinum isn't even worth gold.
Right.
So all we've done is dilute it down, and now the points are worth less.
Wow.
And so that's a different thing. Now we go to offers and how offers work and how comps and all that stuff. So your offers are based on your average play. I'm going to get a little nerdy here. This is where we bring in the whole theoretical and everything else.
Let's do it.
So theoretical win-loss, has to do with all your play. And this is why I don't stress this to people, because it's very complicated. It has to do with your play from essentially whatever time period the casino decides. Some are 12 months, some are 6 months. How much play did you do? How many average hands did you have? How many average bets? What denomination did you do your average bets at? If all your average bets were at a penny, that's nothing compared to a guy who does average bets at 5 cents, 10 cents, etc., going all the way up.
Yeah.
So it all that weights in. Here's another reason why I don't go over theoretical win-loss is because let's say you and I, we play $5 plenty. You play much higher as well. How about this? When you go down and play a 5-cent game, that hurts you in your comps.
Wow.
Because your theoretical takes a hit. Now, This is all complicated math behind the scenes. I do not worry about it myself. I don't care. I play what I want to play at the denomination I want to play at.
That's that.
Because I can't see what my theoretical is. I have no concept how to keep track of it.
Right.
So I can stick in with my coin in, coin out, your churn. That brings you the most rewards with the least amount of headache. So let's just say, for instance, on a trip, you bring $1,000 for 4 days. Okay. We're breaking it down to $250 a day. In that time period of that $1,000, you could get close to, again, with a little luck, little good machines and all that, you could get 20,000 points. In MGM's world, they're looking at that and they're seeing that whole churn up and down. They're seeing the time you cashed out 200, the time that you played it all down to 0, et cetera, et cetera. And they're able to, with their system of mathematics, figure out what that's worth to you. What's that worth to them? MGM's base offer is generally 4 nights free midweek.
Nice. Some
free play. It might be $10. It might be $20. It doesn't matter what it is. It's free play. Same thing with resort credit. That might be $10. It might be $100. Resort credit is usually always a little bit more because they want you spending more at the resort.
Right.
So all those comps that you're getting come off this pool that you've created by your play. And so let's just say, for instance, I'm playing that $1,000 over that week time period. The casino's seeing that as $250 a day play. Now, they can figure that all out. Believe me, they have the math resources to figure all of this out. They can't influence any of your play from the players' cards, but they can see your cash in, cash out, what your churn is.
Right.
And that's how they use that math to figure out what you're owed as comps. Now, remember, these are the only rewards that you're getting, so you take every single one of them. All right? If it's 4 nights free, you take those 4 nights free. Now, yes, those are essentially fronting you comps for your current trip. And you have to play to get those approved for next time. Essentially, it's a vicious cycle for us all.
Yeah.
We're playing to get comps, to use the comps, to play in the future. Now, here's the other tricky part. Let's just say you go to a casino and you don't play. Okay? I go to Vegas in a month in March. And I'm using my 4 nights free and my resort credit and all that, and I don't play at all. I don't play a single machine, John. That's not going to happen. But still, I don't do that. I'm going to take a hit on my next offers. All those offers are probably going to slide down.
Yeah, because it was 0. and go from the average, right? Okay, so that makes a lot more sense. And I'm sure a lot of people think it's from my last time playing, because sometimes we'll say I spent this much last time, but then
it's an average.
They didn't do that the last 3 times, they're just like that. Yeah.
If you played great a year ago and you didn't play great on your last trip, who remembers what?
Yeah, right.
It's what have you done for me lately?
What have you done for me lately? You're only as big as the average. You know.
Exactly.
Yep.
So try to remember it's all averages. So if you come to Vegas once and play $1,000 and you're not seeing great offers, if you come to Vegas again and play another $1,000, you come to Vegas again and play another $1,000, you're going to see those offers increase.
Yeah.
The more number of trips you make in a year playing the same amount, you don't have to increase your amount. You don't have to increase your budget. Stay with what you can afford to lose.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And then you're going to see changes in your comps. But those comps and those offers are built on your play. That's where everything's coming from. Right. That's why I use my card every time. And I will say this over and over till my face turns blue. Use the card every time.
Use the card, people. I can't.
I don't care what whoever said on YouTube of don't use your card because you don't get that, or put your card in and out for bonus rounds and all that. Seriously, it doesn't matter.
We've debunked this now. We've debunked this now, and now we've brought both parts together to debunk it twice. Play with that card, ladies and gentlemen. You are missing out on so many things. What's the best loyalty program that you've dealt with?
Best is super subjective, okay? Because what you're looking for in a program. For me, I'm looking for free nights. That's mainly what I'm looking for. I like some resort credits so I can eat on. Don't really care about free play. I like it, but that, to me, MGM is the best all around, not just because of their program perks, but because of how many properties they have around the country.
Yeah.
So I can play MGM all across the country, and while I don't have perks at certain properties, like if I go to Beau Rivage, I'm not going to have the same perks because I don't have any play there.
Right.
But at the same time, I do have offers extended through my play in Vegas to MGM. I used to be a big Caesars person until they diluted their program. Now you can go with another place like Boyd. Boyd's another great one to go to. Their offers are what I would call realistic. They're not flashy like, MGM is. So your offers are going to be a little bit more on the subdued side, and also depends on where you play.
Right.
So if you play Sam's Town in Sam's Town in Shreveport, you play there hard. Your offers in Sam's Town, Vegas may not be anything because, 2 different properties, even though they're in the same system.
Makes sense.
But if I am a loyal Boyd person and I start playing around the country, I'm going to see offers from casinos I've never been to.
Yeah.
And so really those 2 programs, I would say, are your best bet for getting the most back and getting the most, most bang for your buck, really. Try to avoid properties that are solo if you're a small player. If you are a $250 a day player, Venetian and Wynn are not for you.
Right.
You do not have enough bankroll to make an impression on them. Right now, if I go to Venetian and I play probably about, we played about $500 or so at Venetian for G2E, I got a 1 night free offer midweek. 1 night. Well, now here's the other thing about offers. I didn't do anything with it because I'm not going to stay there 1 night. A month later, it became 2 nights.
Oh, they want them. They want them.
So here's the whole thing where you have a little more control in the casino. It's kind of like,
How about
you're
that?
holding out on them. Yeah.
That's good stuff, man.
You don't like your offers. The answer is don't go to the casino more. The answer is go to the casino less.
Go to the casino less, and they'll try to throw you, something even better.
Yep.
Now, this isn't going to keep going and work. If you don't go with 30, you're not going to get 3 nights and then 4 nights. That's not how it works.
It's not going to go forever.
You'll get a little.
Eventually, they're going to stop calling.
Eventually, yeah. Eventually, they will. I'm hoping that Oklahoma doesn't do that to me. 3 years out.
Oklahoma will not stop calling.
Oof.
They will constantly call. They're that girl who's not leaving you alone. They're calling you.
Yeah, man. They want it back, and I now I want to go back because of that.
We want you back.
My own places here that don't give a crap if you go there.
So since you brought up WinStar, and they are the biggest casino in the world, I'm going to tell you a little bit about their rewards program. It's chaotic.
Chaotic.
no rhyme or reason to it.
There you go.
My play is almost the same consistency each and every time I go.
Okay.
No changes. I will have $100 in free play one month, and I'll have 30 the next month. I'll go to 75 and I'll go to 10.
Sounds chaotic.
I'll go to only midweek hotel stays, and then I'll go to anytime I want. Always 2 days. I never get more than 2 days, though. It's always 2 days. I don't know why.
Okay.
But they're just chaotic like that. They don't have a lot of, I would say, easy to follow rhyme or reason to what they're doing or why they're doing it.
Right.
And so you get offers all over the place. Now, Choctaw, which would be their direct rival right across the, hour away from them in Oklahoma. I think they're the 4th largest casino in the world now.
Wow. Is that true?
Yeah, they are coming up. Their next redesign, they'll be bigger than WinStar if it goes through.
Yes, they're going to compete. They're going to have 2 of the biggest places, on the planet.
Yeah. And so theirs is completely stingy. You play there, you're lucky to get one night midweek.
Interesting.
It's going to exclude any holidays. It's going to exclude whenever they have a concert, all that stuff. $5 free play is what I have right now at Choctaw. However, it's a lot more common sense in the way they do things. They have a structure involved in that. And you have to be X high to get that structure.
Right.
And I'm not. And that's the other thing. Don't chase reward status to be that, I want to get this penthouse room. Don't chase that. It's never going to be worth it for you. It's always going to be worth it for the casino.
It's just
never going to be worth it for you.
It's just a room on top of it. Who cares, dude? Just have a bed for me, right? Like,
yeah.
Now you realize that after going so much and spending so much money and trying to push for so much, maybe throwing a little bit extra. Oh, this is only extra $100 a night. It could get 2,400 square feet for what? For what? It's the casino downstairs.
The whole thing I will ask for, and here's the other. I'm going to throw this in as a tip. Always ask. Whatever it is, ask. Because the worst they can say is no.
Is no.
I always ask for an upgrade at the front desk. Free upgrade. I'm not paying for an upgrade. I want one.
How do you go about asking for that, Dave? Do you throw them a 20? Like a lot of people think I'm going to give.
I will throw them the 20. Yeah. So if I'm there for 2 nights, I don't care about an upgrade. That's not enough time. But if I'm there for 4 nights or 6 nights, I want that upgrade. So what I do is, I'm going to grab 2 cards here. Here we go. Okay.
I'll be the guy.
So there we go. So I use my driver's license, was this card right here, and my other card, which is your credit card, and you put that 20. I don't even have a piece of paper in here.
Right in between them.
Put a 20 between them, and you hand it to them just like that. And so that's how you do it. You say, do you have any complimentary upgrades?
Bang.
And they'll look at that. They know what it is. They understand completely. Everyone understands what that is.
This is great. Yeah.
So when you hand them that, 90% of the time, 90% of the time, they will do something for you. Now, here's the thing. Mark and I have a huge disagreement on this of what an upgrade is. I feel an upgrade is anything.
Okay.
Anything beyond your base. If I book a king room and I get a king room with a better view, that's an upgrade to me. But for me, the upgrades is getting a jetted tub. I want to book the base room, and I want a room with a jetted tub.
I want the premium hot tub. So what does Mark think? What does Mark think you should get?
Mark thinks you have to be at a suite in order for it to count as an upgrade. I'm like,
the acrobats and a piano, right?
Yeah, it's like I'm in a Motel 6 hotel room, and I want to be at least in a Hyatt Regency hotel room. I always ask.
All great info.
If they say no, you're in the same spot you were before you asked.
That's it, right? You were going there with that intention 5 minutes ago.
Yep.
Just getting what you were about to get. So
you have nothing to lose.
You're still going to be at that level. You're not going to get knocked down a level. It might just be the confrontation thing of it all and the rejection thing.
That's true, but you're in an industry where they want to say yes.
Yeah.
These people want to say yes to you.
Is there anything I missed here, Dave, that you could touch on that I'm missing here as far as loyalty?
Let me think here. When you use your comps, Yeah. So when you use your comps, think of it as a bucket.
Okay.
So you're filling your bucket with your play, and when you're using your comps, you're emptying the bucket.
Got it.
Now there's a thing called back end comps. So let's say you're checking out and you're going to ask the player's desk, hey, is there anything you can take off my bill because of my play this time? Those are called back end comps.
Back end comps. Here we go.
Yes. So
for this one,
let's say your bill is $500, okay, when you're leaving. After everything else, you got some rooms comped, but you had some meals put on there, maybe some room service, maybe you paid for one night, all that kind of stuff. After your play, you go to the rewards desk and say, is there anything you can take off my bill on the back end? They're going to do their computer thing, and they're going to look at it and see.
Okay.
It's going to be essentially, remember your bucket's over here. Your bucket's got stuff in it.
Yep.
You put stuff in your bucket from your play.
Right. That's right. I did.
They're going to look in your bucket,
and
they're going to see what they can take out
to
pay for that room. So kind of remember, anything you use from the bucket matters for your next trip.
Got it.
So if I use those back end comps to take off that $500,
yeah,
essentially that's a little bit less that my offer might be in the future. So you always have to take that chance.
Look at this. Blow my mind here, pal. You blow my mind. I don't know what to say. I'm trying to retain all of this information, and I'm going, you got to be, because you should play it in a systematic way. Like if you want the best out of your rewards and offers and whatever it is, right? You want it to do the best. So instead of let's say you're going back to Vegas and this time you brought a little bit less money, are you better off, let's say, going into the place where you spent $500 last time? Are you better off going in there with $100? Or are you better off just walking right past it and going, somewhere else with that $100 because you didn't match from the last time? Remember, we're talking about the averages. At least they don't have you, on report there that you were there if you're not swiping. So, you know what I mean?
There's a great term I like to use for that. So I always say, no matter what property it is, you want to date them, not marry them.
Date them, not marry them, people.
Listen. I am in a long-term dating relationship with MGM. I was long-term dating Caesars, but we didn't work out.
Didn't work out.
Stopped treating me right, so I had to go and find MGM across the street.
It's compared.
If there is another property that comes at me and says, hey, I'd like to date you, well, maybe I can date them too, I don't have to be 100% loyal to a property because they're not 100% loyal to me.
Correct.
This is all about how much money we're giving each other.
Well said.
And we're just moving money back and forth.
Yeah.
Don't feel that you have to stay at a property because they're not treating you right. If you come to a property with $200 and last time you came with $500, don't feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't gamble this, because if you don't gamble at all, that's really going to affect your offers.
There you go.
But that's how they get you. We lock into a reward program because that's where rewards are. Okay. Right now in January is the best time of year to try out new properties because all your rewards have zeroed out. Every one of your tier credits is gone. You're zeroed out for the year. So now you're starting fresh.
Time to date someone new, like Dave says.
Try Venetian. Try over at Resorts World. Give downtown a try. Go to Foxwoods. Go that way. Oh, what was that? That was weird.
What the heck just happened? We flopped.
We flopped again. That's all right.
What is that? What does it have, like a time limit where you're on one side? That was crazy.
That was nuts. I didn't do anything. My hands are right here.
What Dave talking about all this dating other properties and stuff. I don't know about those hands. Dirty boy.
But it's super important to remember that these properties are after your money.
Yeah.
You're the customer.
Yeah, man. Use it right.
Go after another property that treats you better.
Yeah.
I
yourself.
really like MGM right now, but I also really liked Caesars 7 years ago.
Right. And
the other thing I want to go into is getting the properties card. So really there's only 2 properties that do this. There's probably more. I just don't keep up with it.
Cards.
MGM and Caesars both have their own credit card.
Cards.
These are great to a point.
Okay,
so
to a point.
If you're responsible with gambling and credit at the same time, you want to get one of these cards. So if you are loyalist to MGM, get the MGM card. If you're loyalist to Caesars, get the Caesars card. I've had the Caesars card for a long number of times. In February, I'm going to get my first MGM card because I've never had it before. And I want to test this out and see what it actually gets me.
Okay.
On the Caesars side, if you get their credit card, I think they still guarantee you platinum level. And all your spend gets you 1x.
Okay.
So as I'm paying gas, I get 1 to 2x, depending if they have a special or not. I'm putting something on, buying a game for my kid. That's a 1x.
Okay.
And so I all those points. And so I'm able to maintain, a lot of points through my Caesars program. It doesn't get you anything else. It's not like WoW. You get a little extra perks here and there, like maybe you can cut a line, but really that's it. If you spend a lot more, they give you a lot more. So they have a VIP card that they give you if you spend up to $10,000 in a year on your card. Don't chase this to get the VIP card.
Yeah,
it's not that worth it. You're going to be skipping lines at the taxi stand, at restaurants, at the buffet. Not worth it otherwise.
Not worth it.
Yeah. So on the MGM side, they start you at a Pearl. And the same thing. If you spend gas, groceries, all that, it's like 1x, 2x, depending on the specials. But on property for both these, Caesars, it's 5x. I believe it's 3x on MGM. So you're getting a multiplier for your stay. And so that can really accelerate your tier points, especially when you're not going to that property.
Right.
And so that right there is a huge benefit. And so little things like that can really help you maintain your points for one. Your points won't expire as long as you're earning them. But you got to be aware of your spending limit. It's the same thing as gambling. Credit is the exact same thing.
Don't go chasing
Treat it like cash.
Comps and stuff. Like it's never going to equate. You're not getting your money back.
Never going to work out. You're never going to. Yep. The juice isn't worth the squeeze, right?
The juice isn't worth the squeeze. Well
That's
said.
right.
Well said. Love your quote.
Now, there's one other thing I want to touch on because I'm still experimenting with this on, and I'll report back later how it works. For the first time ever, I took a marker out of the casino.
Uh-oh.
I applied for casino credit.
Okay. I've never done this before.
Me neither. That was the first time for me. I knew about it. I've heard about it. I know what it is, but what does it do for the player? So again, this is if you cannot handle spending responsibly, this is not for you. If you're struggling with winning or losing at a casino, if you're struggling with blowing your budgets, do not even think about this. This is advanced discipline stuff. All right. If you're taking $500 and you don't have $500 to lose, you don't need to be thinking about credit cards or markers. You need to be getting control of your budget. So taking a marker out is essentially I apply to the casino for a line of credit.
Right.
That links to my bank account, and then they check me out, and essentially it's like getting a credit card. So I applied for the minimum at MGM, which is $2,500.
Okay.
I had to give them my bank account info so they could check and make sure I had the ability to pay. I am taking out from the casino a zero interest loan for the duration of my stay for $2,500 or up to $2,500.
Right.
If I pay that back before I leave, it's
0%.
Dollar for dollar, no interest, no juice, no vig.
And that's what you want.
And that's what you want. Now, let's say I don't pay that back. They're going to pull that money from my bank account, and there's probably going to be a fee involved. And if I don't pay that back, they're going to come after me, John. They're going to send the people with the white and white shirts after me to come and collect. So what my theory is that because I did that, I may see extra offers. I may see a benefit.
Yeah.
And if there's a benefit, I'm definitely reporting it back to you guys to know that there's a benefit in doing this. But again, a huge warning sign. You have to be aware of your budget and be aware of your spending. This is not for the beginner. This is for the advanced person who can bring $500 in their pocket and leave with $400 in their pocket.
You have to let us know how this turns out.
Oh, I totally will. I'm still waiting to find out. Like, I did it.
To tune in.
And here's the way I did it was went to the cage, said, I want to do a marker, took that marker, and Mark is my witness on this. He saw me do it. Now, in the case of slot play, going to the cage, they give you a ticket.
Yeah.
Put that in the ATM machine, cashed it out, put that into an envelope, wrote no on the back of the envelope, and put tape over it so that you definitely see if I'd opened the envelope up. Threw that in the safe in the room, didn't even open the safe until Friday when I was checking out.
Wow.
went downstairs, paid the marker. I still have it with me. I didn't even tear it up because I'm waiting to see what happens to make a video on it to tear it up then.
Dave, that's great discipline, man. You have been.
Well, this has taken me a long time to do. I've been gambling for 32 years.
I've never done it. I've thought about it, of course, but then I'm like, nah, what are you doing? Like, we're not doing this.
That's a bad idea.
Bad idea.
I learned all of this the hard way. I did not have YouTube to teach me how to do things right, to teach me about budgeting, to teach me don't bring my ATM card. No, I learned hard way. I was in Vegas for 4 days one time. I lost all my money on the first day, and I had $5 to eat on for 4 days. That is how you get to this state I'm in now, is the struggle, all that. And I don't want any of you guys to struggle. I want you guys to hit the ground running and not go through those hard times like I did.
That's why people need to hear from you. They need to hear from Mark. They need to go check out Gamble Smart, Gamble Safe. Please do, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we did this again, was because now we get a whole different side of it. Now we just got laid out in front of us, you know, in the last two interviews with you guys. Like I said, every myth you could possibly debunk, I think. You know, a good way to take advantage of these point systems, which point systems are the best in comparison to this one and that one. You know, this can be a 10-part thing where we could touch on different casinos. And like you were saying,
for sure,
that 10X reward day may look awesome. What are your tier points like? You know what I mean? Now,
what are you actually getting?
Exactly. People can see that in their head and say, oh, it's not really worth it. They're just trying to get you to, you know, whatever. Dave, awesome info, man. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time again. You know,
anytime.
And I'm sure we will do this more because we need more info. And as you guys go along, you're going to be learning, you know, different things with different machines, different ways to take advantage. There's going to be different casinos. There's going to be casinos that get taken over by this property, you know, in accordance to that property. Is it better? Is it worse? All that stuff. Unity is a big thing now with all the Hard Rocks, or three of them. It's like, you know, so many different things that we could touch on. So please, you know, get a notebook, keep it handy, and start writing things down for the next interview, and we'll have even more questions for you. I mean, we covered, you know, an hour here, and I feel like we are barely scratching the surface.
Oh, there's so much more.
Next
one.
That's it.
Psychology. How about that?
There's going to be another part, regardless. Of course, Dave, again, thank you for your time. Thank you for this interview.
Anytime, man.
You know, the people, thank you. You know, the creators, thank you. Take advantage of certain. It's not hard to open up that pamphlet. You know, look at your, you know, planner and say, okay, I'm going to go this day and this day because they have this coming. You know, they have this. I want to take advantage of that slot tournament. You know, so many things, like I said, we didn't cover on that we really need to. But again, Dave, thank you for your time. You know, guys, make sure you check it out. Gamble Smart, Gamble Safe. I'm sure you have already. You know, some of the 3 interviews now with these guys. We cannot get enough of them. There's going to be way more. Next time, we're going to have Dave play the double top dollar behind him. We're going to have a whole bunch of fun. We're going to put things to the test. So
there we go.
Guys,
get my arm proud enough.
Make sure you're checking out those guys. Make sure you're checking out SlotsFan. Of course, make sure you're checking out the NJ Slot Guy. And I will have some more interviews for you soon. Let's go.